Hello, everyone. Welcome to Team Talk. I'm your co-host, Mark Iorio, along with Milton Corsi over to my left. What's up, man?
I'm doing great, man. How about yourself?
Good.
You know, I'm actually a little offended right now because typically you always say my
No,
friend
I'm not
Milton
doing
Corsi.
it anymore. I'm not doing it anymore.
And this time you just
'Cause
referred to me as
you
Milton
always,
Corsi.
you always say I'm getting closer and closer. I said, forget it. I'm not gonna do it now.
Fair enough.
But you are my. Listen, you don't think you're my friend. I think I'm your friend.
I'm sure in your head I am. But whatever.
Yeah, exactly. So listen, man, we've got Robb Hoyle on with us today, man. Robb is the founder, president, CEO of GTS Scientific. Good morning.
Good morning, guys.
How are you?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me here.
Good to have you on the program, Robb.
Yeah.
Robb, I think we told you the other day that on Team Talk we talk about culture. We talk a lot about culture. We talk a lot about inclusive workforces, diverse workforces. You founded a placement agency, right? Executive placement firm, and you're touching culture and diversity and inclusion all the time, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's start off by talking about how you build, in your mind, an inclusive organization, Robb. Something that where everyone around the table, diversity of thought, diversity of whatever, comes to the table.
Yeah, so I'd like to start with why I think about diversity, inclusion, and culture the way that I do. And the reason for that is because right in my business, we get exposure to a lot of clients in different areas. Mostly life sciences is our focus.
Sure.
And what I've noticed throughout my career of working with our clients and different companies, and even myself working in organizations, is that there's kind of two ways to go about it. There's one, you build a culture and you build a diversity and inclusion program or way you're going to go about it, and you check the boxes and this is how things are going to be. Mm-hmm. Or the way that I've seen it done, which I believe is the way to do it, is you live the culture through your actions as an organization. So what I mean by that is the way that you are creating opportunities for your employees, mm-hmm. the way that you are being transparent with them, mm-hmm. The way that you're engaging with them. You're not just walking the walk and talking. You're talking the talk and walking the walk. And I truly believe that is the way to go about it, not just to have that kind of check the box program. Where,
yeah, right.
You need a certain number of applicants. You need a certain amount of people you hire from different backgrounds. I think you have to live it from the top down. Mm-hmm. and bottom up as well. So that's kind of where our approach is internally as a company. When we talk about some examples, right? The two that I like to look at are diversity of thought and also opportunity. So to me, from a leadership perspective, I believe that we should be creating opportunity top down and bottom up.
Yep.
And
mm-hmm.
that's the way that we build it.
Yeah.
Okay. We build it so that and for us, it's mostly a team of producers, right? We're mm-hmm. working on filling positions for our clients and things mm-hmm. like that. So we encourage, the way that our model works is basically our entry level to a few years of experience folks are creating opportunity for the senior leadership, and the senior leadership is bringing that opportunity to them as well.
Yeah.
And it's kind of a back and forth exchange. Mm-hmm. So I like the idea of everybody on the team having that opportunity and also being able to create it for each other. Mm-hmm. And then from a diversity of thought, in our organization, the way that we go about it is from day one when you join my team, I want to hear what you think about our process and our company and what's going on here. Because in my opinion, look, I've been living in the business now for 8 years, so it's very different what I think about it. And where I've been in my experiences are very different than some of the folks who went and worked somewhere for 3 years and they went to different colleges and different backgrounds. Their perspective on the world is different than mine and some of my leadership teams.
Sure,
so I want to hear about it.
Yeah.
If there's something we can change as an organization, whether it be culturally or process or any of those things, I want to hear your ideas, I want to embrace them, and I want to be able to change them. And that's the other cool part about our company is that we could change something tomorrow because there's no there's no compliance I have to get approval for or anything like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, very cool. Listen, I thank you so much for that. And something you said in your kind of lead-in that really grabbed my attention. And that was the idea that, culture isn't just words on a piece of paper. it's actionable. Right.
Yeah.
It's almost like to think about it in terms of it being a verb, an action word.
Yeah.
Right. So if you would share with us and with our audience maybe some of the things that you've done, some of the actions that you guys take within your organization to make those things a reality. Like, I love when you talked about the idea that you want people to give you open and honest feedback. Like, so what do you do, or how have you kind of cultivated that in your organization?
Engagement.
Okay.
Engaging with the employees, and not making it so that it's always you're in the middle of the group and you have to say something. Engaging with them, building relationships with them, understanding where their perspectives are. I think employee engagement is one of the biggest pieces to that puzzle. Okay. And then, aside from that, what do we do as a company, right? I also think it's about, and this kind of goes back to my clients as well, the ones that I see that's doing well. Once you're living that culture, you can build a brand around it in order to be able to hire who you need to hire. And that's what folks look for. Like, they like to see that companies are engaged in the community, whether it be philanthropy or working with academia, and that we see that a lot as well, right? Where large pharma companies or even middle-sized pharma companies will go and engage with academia, whether it be high school or college programs, and just share career opportunities with them, open their eyes to what they may be able to do with their careers. So that I really think it's around making sure you have that, not just the community engagement, the employee engagement, but also at the academic level as well.
Yeah.
And then you're able to tell the story because you are living that culture. You're not just saying, oh yeah, we're a very diverse, inclusive organization. What does that mean?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Rob, it's interesting you say that because, as we were talking prior to today and prepping for this, we talked a lot about that. We talked a lot about academics and how you start getting kids, children, students to begin looking at STEM programs early on, no matter where they come from, no matter what their background, so that when they get to the point where, as they transition through high school and into college, they're interested in STEM, and then for you have a bigger, broader pool to select from. So how do you get like schools and organizations to start to understand that?
Yeah, well, and that's what, I want to bring that up as kind of an issue in the STEM area as in general, right? I think it's the awareness at a very early level. Junior high school. By the time they get to college, they've already made up their mind on some things. But if they don't have an idea of the opportunity, and the opportunity that we're talking about is these, even at the the basic manufacturing level of life science or an engineering product or technology, these are long-term, high-paying jobs. These are careers where you can work up the ladder. You don't necessarily have to have even a college degree for some of the manufacturing jobs. So I think that the biggest issue that we face is that showing kids the opportunity. And so some of the programs that I've seen that are working really well, like for example in Pennsylvania, there's the Manufacturers Resource Center, and what they do is they're working with high schools throughout the state, and it's called Tell Me About Your Job. So they bring a diverse group of executives in, and they just talk about their job.
Oh, that's
or not
great.
even just executives, but directors and
Right.
people who came up throughout their career and moved forward. That's a really great program. I think if we can do more things like that, where maybe it's once a week during lunch, or once a semester, whatever it might be. But then there's other programs like it's called Nimble down in Delaware, and basically it's an Institute for Innovation and National Institute for Innovation of Manufacturing of Biopharmaceuticals.
Okay.
And what they realized is the shortage in the areas of cell and gene therapy, and really cell manufacturing in general. There's a huge shortage there, and what their goal is to kind of repurpose people who maybe were in some sort of a manufacturing industry that's gone away for one reason or another.
Right.
And these again are high-paying jobs, so they're out there educating the community on what they can be transitioning to.
Yeah.
But again, these are also, you graduate from high school, and if we can train them with, a certificate, that's going to take a large population, and it's going to create a lot of jobs. And then lastly, there's Life Sciences Pennsylvania, and they have the same, their program is Tell Me About Your Job as well, and they only have a diverse background of professionals that come in and they just talk about their careers and how they got to where they got to.
Yeah.
So I think more initiatives like that. I mean, I'd love to see the states getting involved, or some sort of federal program that might be able to help that. I have no idea what that looks like, but that's a bigger challenge. But I think
Anytime
that's
the federal government gets involved in anything, it
I
could
think
be a
that's the
mess.
key, though, is people have to realize what their opportunities are.
Yeah.
And then from there, if they're willing to work hard enough to go and get it, there are opportunities out there.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Something you said earlier, it really kind of resonated with me, and it was about kind of like, the different approaches we can have to kind of creating these organizations. And you said the first one is kind of outreach. Kind of like we're going to reach out, we're going to try to recruit, people from a variety of backgrounds, a variety of different, mental frameworks or whatever, so we can have all that diversity on the team. But I also see it kind of the other way around, right? Like if we want to attract the best talent, we need to create an environment that is desirous for them. So, so it's not simply about me going out knocking on your door, but we create that environment. People go, you know what? I want to work there.
Yeah, and that was a little bit about my point about branding, right? There's a lot of things that employers can say that will turn somebody off for one reason or another to that company, and if you don't have your brand that is aligned. And even with, look, the first thing people do is they check out your reviews, they check out what's going on in the company.
Right.
Are you walking the walk, or are you just talking it?
Right.
So I think that is, I'm seeing more and more that companies are engaging that way. Not just reviews, but taking a look at what does this job description look like that I'm out there branding and marketing? What are some of the requirements that the candidates need to meet? Just thinking about different ways that you are attracting the candidates.
Exactly.
And not the traditional method of,
right.
Hey, here's my resume, we want you.
Yeah.
Because that's not the way it works anymore.
Really looking at the whole person, right? And how they fit into the culture of the organization.
Exactly.
And how that culture is aligning to their brand.
Yeah.
So.
And showing the opportunity as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
We have to take a quick commercial break, Rob. When we come back, we'll talk more about what GTS is doing and how you do business and what the business is all about.
Great.
We'll be right back after a message from our sponsors. Don't go away.
Boardwalks built for fun. Legendary rock and roll clubs.
This is how we do it. Hip hip hop.
Casinos by the ocean.
Hip hip hop.
Now that's New Jersey. 130 miles of beautiful beaches. Solid rock. And everything in between.
Look in the window.
Now that's New Jersey. Plan your New Jersey trip at visitnj.org. Waves of fun. Nights of excitement. And a trail of memories. Now that's New Jersey.
Welcome back to Team Talk. I'm your host, Mark Iorio, along with my good friend, my buddy, my main man, Milton Corsi.
Stop it, man.
Is that better? You feel better now?
Well, you know what? Here's the line, and you just stepped over it. You went a little too far, bro, but it's okay. What are we going to do?
God, we got Robb
Yeah.
Hoyle on with us today from GTS Scientific. Robb, tell us a little bit about the company. First of all, how'd you start it? Why'd you start it? And then, why'd you transition into owning your own business almost a decade ago?
Yeah, it's a crazy undertaking that I don't know that I would go back and do again today. When you get those little kids at home, life's a little different.
It is.
So the timing was great. I had a long career in recruiting, mostly in science and engineering field, and I did that for about 10 years. And I had I transitioned into a role where I wasn't really being challenged. I was making a good living, doing well.
Yeah.
I had, basically national recruiting responsibilities, but I wasn't really leading a team. I wasn't doing any business development. Little did I know when I first started the company that running a company is a whole different thing. You can't just be good at business development and recruiting.
Really?
Yeah. So,
really.
but basically at the time I wasn't being challenged, and I also thought, I'd worked for some companies that recruiting firms that did things a certain way, and I thought that there was a better way to do it, and I could figure out that way and do that. So that was 2013. Basically took couple $1,000s out of my savings account, quit my job, made the business plan, started the company, right? So one-man show out of my home office. Fast forward to 2021 here, and we're 12 employees. We're based right outside of Philadelphia in Bucks County.
Okay.
We have just about 150 clients now at this point.
Wow.
Nice.
Yeah, and we've done work across the country, 30 plus states. We've done work globally as well in the UK, Canada, South America, India. And the work that we focus on mostly, about 70% of our work is life sciences. So pharma, biotech, medical device, some specialty chemical and service providers into the industry and things like that. And we have basically, we're split into two practices: a true executive search, where we're doing C-suite level executives, and then our other practice, which is where GTS came from, is the contingent search work of staff level scientists and engineers up into management and director type folks.
Level. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right, very cool.
Good. What do you think makes you different from some of the other search firms out there? Because there's a lot of them, and it's competitive.
It's extremely competitive, for sure. So the number one thing I think that makes us different is the way that we look at partnerships with our client and with our team, right? So we claim to be very, very, very good for our clients that allow us to partner with them. And what I mean by that is, essentially we're the experts, right? We understand how the process should work in a search. And when we're very good and very effective is when we're able to coach and guide the clients through the process.
Okay.
And not just take orders and say, this is what we need, here's the profile, go find that person. That doesn't work. We need full engagement with them and the ability to partner with them. And that's actually part of our vision, is to be the preferred provider for our partner clients, right? We're not trying to be working with just the largest biopharma company out there or anything like that. And then the second part is the team. We've realized through learning that if you don't have the right people in the right seats, that you're not going to be able to be successful.
Yeah.
But what I mean by that is, part of the company will be successful because you can have some producers on the team that are doing great.
Right.
But then you have a few that aren't doing so well, and it's not good for them.
Right.
They're struggling.
Right.
And look, recruiting's hard.
Yeah.
We work long hours, and you're either good at it and being very successful and love it, or you're struggling but still working as hard as the guy over here who isn't being successful or is being successful.
Yeah.
So, I think it's that, but it's also our culture of we have this cohesive unit. People come into the office now, and we're back in the office a few days a week, but they like coming to work, and that's not coming from me, right? Like, I'm the CEO. I'm not the guy who says, hey, you guys love coming in here. They were asking to come back in mid-summer last year, saying, hey, we really want to get back in, see each other, be part of the team. 'Cause there's just a little bit that's lost when you're you know, when you're remote. But I think that's, you know, those are the two biggest things that differentiate us.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, very cool, very cool. Just a couple of more questions about your company. Why did you choose, I mean, there's executive recruitment across the board in every industry. Was there something about life sciences that really resonated with you, or, you know, or is it just kind of where the chips fell?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. Well, my entry-level career, I just fell into it.
Okay.
And I said, hey, if you guys want me here, whatever, just let me know what to do. I'll go run through a wall for you.
Right.
But then, you know, fast forward to starting the company, I initially thought it was going to be a lot of your traditional kind of manufacturing and engineering work, and we still, you know, do a very small amount of that, but we do that. And about 6 years ago, I was at an event in Philadelphia, and I had the opportunity to watch Dr. Carl June from University of Pennsylvania speak, and the story behind they ended up, through their CAR T cell therapy, curing cancer for, I think she was a 5 or 6 year old girl at the time, and now fast forward 7 years, she's cancer free.
Wow. Wow.
So to me, watching that, it was extremely emotional and something that, you know, I'm passionate about to this day, right? Because, you know, we're not even talking about treating these, you know, rare diseases and cancers anymore. We're talking about curing it. So from that day on, I said, we're going to focus most of our outbound effort in this life sciences space, because this is something we can be passionate about and have be mission driven about it. And I think everybody on my team loves that as well.
That's great.
So yeah, that's why we got into the space, and we're continuing to focus on it. I mean, there's so much amazing work out there, and that's the best part of my job when I'm not working with my team, is I'm typically out of conferences and just seeing these amazing technologies that are being brought to market now, whether it's a technology or cell or gene therapy or anything like that. It's incredible work they're doing.
Yeah, no
Yeah.
question.
Yeah.
I want to bring us back to something you said earlier, Rob, about becoming partners with your clients. And one of the things that we focus on Team Talk is building these cultures, right? So rather than taking an opening position or a position that's open and just plugging someone into that position, when GTS is partnering with a client, you want to put the right person into that slot, right? That's just doesn't have the right resume, the right background, the right skill set, but helps enhance that team. How do you go about doing that? That's not an easy process, because you have to have an ongoing dialogue with that client, right?
Yeah, you have to have a very ongoing dialogue, and it starts in the beginning. We do a lot of the heavy lifting before we even talk to a candidate up front to get all of the details for that role that we'll need, right? Because it's two parts. The client is looking for this exact thing, and in gene and cell therapy, it's sometimes the needle in the haystack from a skill set standpoint.
Sure.
You're talking about one of 10 scientists in the country with patents in this area or whatever it may be.
Sure.
But it also has to fit for the candidate and what they want to do with their careers. If those two roads don't align from a culture standpoint, from a, does this person want to be a long-term scientist doing research, or do they want to get into management or be in a management role? Right. Or get out of a management role and go into a science role. And then it's a little different. So there's a lot of details, kind of at that staff and management level that we need to connect the dots.
Yeah. Right.
All the way into, making sure we know the equity opportunity for the candidate. But then you go into the C-suite. And the executive search in C-suite is a whole different ballgame. If you don't have the network of connections to get connected to people, CEOs aren't responding to emails that you send them about their job.
No.
They're responding because, I called Mark or Mitch and I said, hey, Nick over at Achieve Next, can you give me an introduction? And 9 times out of 10, those introductions are very high level, right?
Right.
So when I call that person, they're already trusting that I know what I'm doing.
Right, yeah.
So that partnering with our clients, and the same thing with our clients, right? When we get introduced to clients, 9 times out of 10, it's because of a relationship that's already existing.
Right.
So they are already having a level of trust that we've built, from it's been 8 years now.
Yeah.
So that's really how we partner. It's through relationships and transparency. Up front, I tell them, hey, look, if you want us to be successful on any search work we're going to do, you have to allow us to help you the way that we know is most effective.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Right. Yeah, no, that's really cool. Good stuff. There's something else that words you've mentioned over and over and over again. Relationships, right? Like, how do you build those relationships with your business partners, right? Because I think that's an important building block. I think sometimes people need to understand, like, what are the fundamental elements that you focus in on to build that connection, that trust, that bond with the people that you're going to be working with.
Are you talking about my clients or internally?
Yes.
Well, and what I'm going to say, actually, we'll respond either way.
I knew some smart aleck comment was going to come from Milt. I knew it.
You leave the door open, I hit it at the park.
Every time.
That's what I do.
I love it.
I think a lot has to do with trust. And what I mean by trust, how you establish trust with somebody is you do what you say you're going to do.
Yeah.
Right? And this could be anything from, all right, we've got a client who says they're going to do this, this, and this. Well, if they're a partner that we trust, it means that they actually did this, this, and this.
Yeah.
And then on our end, we did all the things that we said we were going to do.
Right.
And if you think about it from, landing a candidate perspective, if you're out there looking for your new executive role, and I tell you I'm going to call you on Friday at 11 a.m., and then I don't call you until 12 or 1 o'clock, how valued will you feel? Right?
Jeez.
No, you're right.
That bond is
So this is a candidate that's not calling you back at
no,
11?
let's say you're trying to hire
Yeah.
a VP of research.
Yeah.
Right.
And I'm the CEO.
Yeah.
And I just don't call you at 11 o'clock on Friday when I told you that I was going to.
Right.
Right. So it's do what you say you're going to do, follow through, and follow up.
Yeah.
All the way around.
Yeah.
Right. Candidates, follow up. Write a thank you letter.
Right.
Simple, easy things.
Oh, yeah, sure.
If you say you're going to do this step in the process on Tuesday, go do it.
Yeah, make sure you do it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So what are the most difficult things that you have to deal with as you're running GTS, Rob, in terms of, and I'm sure that
It's easy. What are you talking
the list is the list is vast, but what are the most difficult things you have, as you face a day? You get up in the morning and you face a day.
Yeah, it's interesting because it's evolving, right? Over an 8-year period, the things that I used to worry about, I don't worry about anymore.
Right.
Currently, the thing that we're 12 employees, and the most difficult thing for me to worry about is making sure that they're fed, making sure that there's opportunity for them, right? Every day I wake up, that's the thing that drives me.
Focus.
Yeah.
Am I able to make sure that everybody has the opportunity to be successful?
Yep.
If we don't have enough clients or enough jobs on the board for them to go out and work on, well, they can't be successful.
Right. Exactly.
Right? And that's kind of what keeps me up at night, right? Because we're doing better than we were 3 years ago, 2 years ago, 5 years ago, but also it comes with different responsibilities. And the other thing is running a 12-person organization versus a 5 or 6 person company.
Yeah.
It's a totally
Vastly
different thing.
different. Yeah.
And all of those issues that you may have administratively or whatever it is, they multiply.
Yeah, they do.
It's not just one person looking for their W-2 or a commission gone wrong or whatever it is. There's 12.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
So it's we've done a good job of being able to, like we hired my brother 3 years ago. He's our COO. And we're hiring a VP of operations who starts actually on March 1st.
Oh, great. Fantastic.
So at the same time, we've been training our employees to get to the next level and be able to manage the team and do things like that. So, we're kind of realizing it takes a lot of chiefs, a lot of Indians to do what you need to do to be successful, and kind of get away from that roller coaster effect where you're successful this month and not successful this month. And quarter to quarter.
Yeah.
I heard that. Good stuff.
So what do you think? It was a good interview, right?
It was a fantastic interview. Yeah. Really interesting stuff. There's so many other things I'd love to talk to you about, Rob, but we're kind of running short on time right now. I hope that the half-hour went as quickly for you as it did for us.
Yeah, no, I really appreciate the opportunity to sit here with you guys. This was
Absolutely.
fantastic.
Thank you.
Sure.
Thank you.
Yeah.
we'll have to get you to tell everybody how to get in touch with GTS. How about that? Look
Yeah.
into that camera right
Sure.
there.
So GTS Scientific, our website is gtscareers.com. You can also find us on LinkedIn, GTS Scientific. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all that good stuff. It's all the same. And myself, you can find me on LinkedIn, Robb Hoyle, GTS Scientific. And you can also check out our podcast, Talent Talks, on YouTube.
Talent Talks. He didn't steal it from us. I think he had his before we had ours.
Sounds
I was
like
only aware of the Rainmakers beforehand.
Yeah, he didn't know about Team Talk.
Sure he did.
Yeah,
That's
right,
That's
exactly.
a different conversation.
Thanks, Robb.
Thanks for having me, Robb.
Yeah,
It's a real pleasure, my friend.
All right.
Absolutely.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's a wrap for Team Talk. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time. Be safe.